Ambassador Steve Witkoff conducted talks with the Iranian foreign minister, which were hosted by the Omani foreign minister. As the White House statement described, quote, the discussions were very positive and constructive, and the sides agreed to meet again next Saturday. Our goal remains clear. In the words of Ambassador Witkoff, quote, a deal with Iran will only be completed if it is a Trump deal. Any final arrangement must set a framework for peace, stability, and prosperity in the Middle East, meaning that Iran must stop and eliminate its nuclear enrichment and weaponization program. It is imperative for the world that we create a tough yet fair deal that will endure, and that is what President Trump has asked me to do.
Thank you. I've got one on Syria and one on Yemen. Has the department made any decision, or is it reviewing potentially granting visas to any Syrian ministers for next week's World Bank and IMF meetings?
You know, let's take that back. I don't have information on that. It's a good question, of course, with the meeting coming up, but I'll have that to you. And was it Yemen?
Yes. You know, obviously the U.S. has been engaged in a military campaign over there for the past several weeks. Is the State Department leading any diplomatic path to get to whatever end result it is that the U.S. wants? We've seen reports that the U.S. is now looking at potentially supporting a ground invasion in Yemen, or supporting factions inside of Yemen to push ahead with the momentum after the military campaign.
Well, I won't speak on any negotiations that may or may not be happening or diplomatic considerations. I think many people have seen the reports regarding actions that may or may not be happening on the ground in Yemen as the Houthis' ability to resist is degraded. That's not something I can remark on. Of course, though, when we think about the nexus of the nature of what's happening in the Middle East, the United States has made its point clear, as the Secretary and through the President, through the ceasefire work and the nonstop efforts regarding the issues in Israel and on the Gaza Strip, and certainly now in the remarkable fact that Iran is at the table regarding their condition, which has also been affected, of course, by the degrading of Hezbollah, certainly the disaster that Hamas has brought that region, including Iran. So when we think about the ceasefire and making people's lives better, it certainly affects the entire region. And I think that's what we can all count on. Yes, ma'am.
Tammy, thank you. You started out with some of your remarks saying that Iran must stop and dismantle its nuclear program.
Well, let me say that was Ambassador Witkoff.
Yeah, echoing what Ambassador Witkoff tweeted earlier today. But just trying to get some clarity on what the administration sees as a potential end goal here with these negotiations with Iran, because last week, heading into the talks in Oman, Witkoff made some remarks to the Wall Street Journal in which he said that the red line would be the weaponization of Iran's nuclear capability, presumably leaving the door open to Iran maintaining a civilian nuclear program. So is the administration open to an end state where Iran does still have a civilian nuclear program, but they are no longer able to speedily get a nuclear weapon?
Well, first of all, for a comprehensive response, and we heard from Caroline earlier, the White House has that kind of response. What I can say, nevertheless, is that the Secretary has been clear, as has the President, as has been the Ambassador, that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon or an enrichment program. What we hear, and I said this again to our friends earlier in the day, as I do, some of you listening from home, I kind of spend about a half hour with our bullpen during the day, and we have some talks and find out what's on their mind. But what I mentioned, because there's always a reaction to a single tweet or a remark that's in a newspaper. And as we are clearly moving to a secondary meeting, which I still won't call a negotiation, but that could change, is that these are people who are the best in the world. Ambassador Witkoff clearly is one of the best people in the world for negotiating and for dealing with bad actors and getting peace and ceasefires. But when things are being said in the moment, in public, it is, you must consider that these are not, that's not part of how they negotiate in the sense of whatever they're talking about together. And that one should always wait and see that no one's negotiating in public. No one is, I don't know who that message would be for or the nature of what's said and how and what format. I would say what matters is an end result, our parties agreeing, papers being signed. It is not what people say, but the actions they take. We have shown that as a nation when the actions that we take and the nature of what we commit to, you can combine the two of what we say and what we do. But I would say that there's one goal here, and that is that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and certainly or the enrichment program. And that is, I think, a pretty easy thing to start with, and that is the one thing that we know that they're working on, and I think we'll have some success considering who we're addressing.
So just
yes, sir.
Follow up on Iran. You mentioned Ambassador Witkoff's tweet today. Last night in an interview with Fox News, he was talking about keeping Iran's enrichment levels below 3.67%, which is like on par with JCPOA. Today he talked about eliminating Iran's enrichment. So what's the reason of this difference here?
Well, if you can contact the White House, but what I just noted to you is that these are comments that are made. It could be made, by anyone in the moment of something that's happening. I would point to his comment today on Twitter, but I also, Ambassador Witkoff speaks for himself quite well, and he is a very transparent man. What's going to matter is what is accomplished, what the end result will be, as opposed to parsing one statement or a sentence line there and another one over here. I know we all want answers because, well, humanity has an interest in the end result of this. But I would just caution you in that regard, and to wait. And again, the thing that matters is what is accomplished, what the last point is. And if anyone can do that, it would be President Trump and his vision, along with Ambassador Witkoff, who's done a great job in this regard. Yes.
Tammy, thanks so much. A couple questions on the Palestinian Authority. The Times of Israel reported a few days ago that Mahmoud Abbas had sent a letter to Secretary Rubio trying to open up the door to get certified that the pay-for-slay program has been ended by the Palestinian Authority. I know you're not going to comment on that correspondence, but in a broader perspective, the State Department is not exactly doling out foreign aid with any enthusiasm at the moment, and the purpose of ending pay-for-slay would be to restart foreign aid to the Palestinian Authority. So does the State Department have any appetite at this point to start that process if the end result is no foreign aid being distributed in the end anyway? And the second question I have is just the broader bird's eye view relationship right now between the U.S. and the Palestinian Authority. Mahmoud Abbas boycotted during the first Trump term, and we've seen American officials go to Jerusalem a number of times. Historically, they made a corresponding trip to Ramallah or Bethlehem. We haven't seen that so far. So bird's eye view.
I think I always try to give you the bird's eye view. But I would say that, first of all, I can't comment on if there are any negotiations or diplomatic considerations. What I do take issue with immediately is that we don't have any glee or excitement over handing out foreign aid. Our commitment to foreign aid hasn't changed. It is in our nature as Americans. It's what we do. I would argue the starting of this country was an aid package for the future. My goodness. And it certainly is also, foreign aid is not a carrot or a stick in negotiations. If it's needed, it's needed. If it isn't, it isn't. We don't use it in that fashion. So I like you very much, and I think you're a nice guy. But it's always disheartening. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be mean. Only to Matt I want to be mean. It's disheartening but it reminds me, and I'm glad that I'm here, to repeat, for people to not be left with that impression that it's not like, oh, we got to give foreign aid. It would be great if nobody needed foreign aid. But we know that we are a country with incredible resources. We know that. And we have incredible responsibilities. And we do not shy away from them. It's part of why we do what we do. We want to be a part of the world. We know we can help, and we do. So it's not ever a part of that we just don't want to do something and so we're not. It's can we? And can it be done properly? Is it aligned with what's great for the United States? And mostly also, certainly it is not used as a weapon. And I just want to say that as strongly as I possibly can. And as far as the nature of what's happening, we are asked often by many of you in different ways, is that there is a constant, regular commitment to Gaza, to the Gazan people, certainly to one of our strongest, if not most stalwart ally, Israel, who have, by the way, a new ambassador from the United States, Ambassador Mike Huckabee. So we're very excited about the future. We are working constantly to have a ceasefire and to change the trajectory on the ground. That has not stopped.